start this video with a disclaimer. I am not a licensed electrician. In order to do things safely in my house, I limit what I try and work on. As always, consult a licensed professional before doing any major electrical work when connected to the grid. Greetings, fellow solar fans, and welcome to another installment of my Solar Noob series. This series is dedicated to learning about solar power and trying to come up with a reliable backup for electricity if something should go wrong, as well as having a bonus of not having everything connected to the grid all the time. So, what I want to talk about today is the Renogy 2000 inverter that I have. This replaced my 1000 unit that was faulty. I have a different video on that. Renogy did a good job of reimbursing me my money, and then I ended up just paying a little extra to upgrade to the 2000. My setup is currently fed power from four 100-watt rich solar panels on the roof. I am running 10 gauge wire from the solar panels down to my Rover MPPT charge controller. From there, I am running 8 gauge wire from the Rover to a 40 amp A&L fuse, and then from the A&L fuse running 8 gauge wire again to my battery pack. So a little interesting note is I was originally running 10 gauge wire left over from my Adventure 30 amp unit, and I was noticing that on super sunny days, the cord would get a little warm. Not hot, not enough hot to melt, just it would get a little warmer than I think it would, because from what I'm hearing, obviously, heat is bad, and if you superheat wire, you can melt stuff, start fires, yada, yada, yada. So I recently bumped up that from the 10 gauge wire to the 8 gauge wire, and now when you touch the wire by the A&L fuse, there's no temperature difference at all. Then from my battery bank consists of 8 100 amp hour Renogy Bluetooth batteries. I've been slowly building that setup since I think September of last year is when I got my first one, and I've tried to buy them like 2 at a time, because obviously you want to use the same brand, same power type, voltage, 12 volt voltage. You want to keep everything obviously as close to possible and the same age as possible. My batteries are all connected together with 8 gauge wire of the same brand, iGreeley wires, and the same length. The reason I do this, and some people use much bigger wire, is I'm trying to achieve perfectly balanced charging. And in order to do that, you have to be using the same gauge wire with the same length throughout the whole batteries, right? Because you want the same amount of resistance running through it. And again, that's just my basic description from what I've read and learned. Again, I'm not a solar expert. You know, there are much smarter people out there. There's Todd Parker, Will Pros, Nate from Explorers Life. There's lots of great guys, video content out there with guys that are super duper way smarter than me. Like Will and Nate have forgotten more about solar power than I currently know. So if you really want to learn more about that stuff, I would check out one of their channels. From my battery bank, I am running 2 odd gauge wire to a 200 amp Class T fuse block. And then between the fuse block and the inverter, I actually have an ampere battery cutoff switch, right? So I have several points in my entire system to where I can shut certain parts of the power off should something go wrong. So there is a power switch running from the controllers to the battery bank. There is also a cutoff switch between the inverter and the battery bank. So even though you can kind of switch off, you know, there's the on and off switch on the 2000 watt inverter itself, everything that I've read is that you should just have one just to be safe, because you never know what's going to happen. I do want to give a huge shout out to some awesome community members in the Renogy forums for helping me, right? Because as I've gone on my journey, I've posted different photos and said what I'm doing, and there's some great community members there that say, that have let me know, hey, instead of using this, use this, and for safety reasons, do this and that, and it's a really good community, and I would definitely recommend checking it out. So, what is my 2000 watt inverter charge? In a regular daily routine here in my home office, because I work from home, I use it to power most of the electronics that you see in my office, except for obviously the TV, because that's on a different unit. I have actually a separate wall unit in the office that runs a dedicated Romex line, a 14-2 electrical wire back into my storage room. That is connected to a 100 amp square D 6-base 12 circuit load center that I'm running out, and I'll show pictures of this at some point in the video, that I run my line to from my inverter to my load center, and then from the load center through the line to that outlet right over there. Some people may think this is a little silly, considering that you can use like a manual transfer switch and have it hooked up to your main your main panel, which mine happens to be in the garage, and then when you want to run solar power or battery backup, you just flip the switch out there. Eventually I'm going to do that, but right now, while I'm learning, I want to think safety first. So it is one of those things where just having a dedicated line all by itself, all I have to do is unplug the my oh wow, electrical outlets from the one that goes to the main grid and goes to the battery backup. So I know it's a little silly, but I'm trying to learn everything, and this is one of the easiest ways to do it. I took a couple quick videos to show you how I'm running that dedicated line, to show that everything's installed correctly, what voltage the inverter is putting out, and I'll probably run this over the audio right now. But as you can see in the videos, it's very, very close to the voltage that it says on, in the specs that it outputs. I think, without having the videos in front of me, I think it's like 117.8 or 118 volts. So very, very, very close. So that line is connected to a 15 amp breaker in that load center panel in the back. So I've been using this inverter since early November of 2021. I haven't had any issues. I try and use it at least every day because, again, like I said, I work from home, and I haven't had any issues with it. So overall, I'm going to really try and put it through its test today, because instead of using like my regular laptop, I'm actually using my gaming PC, video editing PC, as it's going to have a much bigger power draw. So we're going to see how it does. So these key lights, the camera, the mic, everything that you see, like I said, except for the television, is being powered by the inverter right now. And I also have a couple little videos to where, like, the fan noise. So normally when I'm just running the day-to-day setup with the laptop and doing regular work, the fans almost never kick on. Maybe every once in a while. I have noticed, obviously, since I'm running more juice, this my PC, I think, has a 650 watt power supply. So obviously it's not running at max because I'm not gaming, but you put all this stuff together, it's pretty decent load, and it seems to be kicking on maybe every 5 minutes, maybe every 10 minutes. So I'll have a video showcasing like what it sounds like, just kind of normal and with a little bit of load on it. So I know Renogy is not Victron, but hey, I honestly, especially for somebody just getting in it, I think it's the best bang for the buck, right? Especially some of us, in spite of what my office looks like, it's taken me 2 years to do this. It's taken me a while to piece this stuff together. I am not super rich, and I didn't go out and get to spend $1 bazillion on everything. It's taken me a long time to build up this setup. So even if you have to start small like I did with just 2 batteries, take your time, and you can add onto your system, and you can get to a point where I'm at. So I hope you find this video useful, and I hope to do one soon showcasing the Rover setup. So in the meantime, have fun and think smart with your electricity. Have a good day.